Hi everyone, I'm Nicola, and I am an empowerment coach and mentor that uses some very interesting holistic tools to help women redefine themselves, personally and in business. And I was very lucky to arrive in Los Angeles 27 years ago from London and set up my own business. So I've been in business for a very long time now. Helping women to transform their lives. So I work with women and men from all walks of life, senior management, CEOs, executives, women entrepreneurs, educators, artists, anyone who's feeling stuck in their journey. And what I've discovered over the years is I've been able to also include the holistic tools that I was taught back in London for the mind, body and spirit. So I've also studied neuroplasticity, I'm a neuro empowerment coach. I'm also a clinical aromatherapist. I do a lot of work with emotional code, which is helping people to release emotions that have been bottled up over the years that are paralyzing them from moving forward. So today, Laurie asked me to talk with you, that's my pen, just disappeared, about, I was going to use a marker up here, and I can't get my phone.
It's right there.
Floor.
Yeah.
Here we go. About leading boldly, owning your power and purpose and possibility. And as Laurie was saying, you know, we are hitting difficult times right now. We're all having to pivot, the economy's shifting, as we know. The handout that you have here is for the end of the session. There's going to be questions for you to really ask yourselves and reflect upon in terms of the direction you're going, in terms of leading your business. And I know, myself included, that we can all get very much affected by what's going on and forget to stay centered and focused and on track with what's important to us. So today, this is a quick reminder, if you like, of some key elements to help you stay focused on leading your business boldly. And I'm really grateful to be here with you today because you're a very powerful, I can feel, group of people. And each of us has the right to be flourishing and thriving and working with those people that we resonate with and not coming from that place of desperation and neediness and fear-based reactive things that we tend to do when we start panicking. So I'm here just to give you that gentle reminder of leading boldly. And when we talk about leading boldly, before we lead anyone, our business, and getting more clients in and helping our clients, we have to lead ourselves, don't we? We have to really be in that place of power of leading ourselves. And bold leadership really starts with reminding yourself of your integrity, your values, your voice, and also your story. What do you stand for in your business? What's important to you? Keep coming back to that place when you're feeling a little disillusioned with the way things are going out there in the world. So I'd like you just for a moment, actually, as you're thinking about stepping back into your power of leading your career, business more boldly, what are your non-negotiables right now? What are you not going to give up? Despite what's going on out there in the world, what are you not going to give up? So for example, I will not give up working with women, as much as I love working with men. 27 years working with women, come from the corporate world, I will not give up working with women. So that's my non-negotiable. What would your non-negotiable be? And if anyone wants to share as well, you're welcome to share. Yes?
I'm starting to feel like I cannot keep giving up my time unless it's going to really serve a specific purpose of value, creating value in my business. I've not that networking events aren't amazing, but I've pulled back on some of them. I'm having to make some choices about where I sprinkle in. I love people and I love socializing because I get something like emotional even out of it. It's like you feel lifted up by other people, but I've had to minimize that lately. Yeah.
Okay. So you're redirecting your focus onto what's important. You're putting your attention on the intention of where you want to spend your time. and focus, which, I mean, I think everyone would agree that's very important to do. Yeah, so that's your non-negotiable. Anybody else want to share anything?
I'm a mom of 10, so
10?
10, yeah, 10. So working with moms is just really a passion of mine.
Okay.
So I do see some men, but usually in therapy you have, 9 women and 1 man. But in my field, I wouldn't extend beyond my scope. Like, for example, I don't, and coming back to the scarcity thing, I wouldn't take on, like, let's say, substance abuse or, eating disorder, because that's outside my scope. So I really want to stay in my lane where I'm strongest and where my passion is.
Your passion is, yeah, and it's about your passion and that fulfillment that you're getting, not just about the money, it's that fulfillment, isn't it? Anyone else want to share their non-negotiable? Yes.
Mine kind of stems into the word professional and personal kind of need is my non-negotiable is I'll never sacrifice time with my child and my family in order to do something for work.
Okay.
Work can wait, family shouldn't have to.
This is great. I mean, this is really good reminders to ourselves. We know this stuff. It's good today to say it out loud. Okay, lovely. Anyone else? Yes.
Hi, Michael. One thing that I've realized, especially as I've gotten older, to not compromise is my health. Because, no matter how much time you have, if you're unhealthy or sick, you're in pain, the time slows down.
Yeah.
And so when I find myself working a lot in overtime, whatever you want to call it, I'm realizing that it's my health that I'm sacrificing.
Yeah.
And so having to be intentional about little things, whether it's getting up and walking, or even like going to Costco as an excuse to walk, with the idea of being out and walking and just recognizing that I've got to move.
Yes.
Has been probably more of a priority than the time itself.
Yes.
Because like I said, the time and being in pain or not able to move,
You can't work.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, you can't produce. Yeah. Good point. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to share?
Sure. Soraya. Hi, everyone. I'd say for me, my non-negotiable would be to constantly fill my own cup. Because I realize as I'm putting myself out there and working with clients, you get a lot of positive and negative feedback, and it's important that I constantly keep replenishing my own mind, body, and soul, so I can just keep going and keep focusing on what my purpose is.
Yeah, walking the walk, talking the talk, and
Yes.
taking care of you. Self-care is so important.
Yeah, because if I don't take care of myself, I can't definitely take care of the client.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, some healthy non-negotiables here. Another quick question, and we'll keep it quicker this time, as much as I love sharing, because we're on a time limit. What parts of you have you silenced to feel safe in leadership? What parts have you silenced to feel safe in leadership? Is it that you go with the flow, you don't go against people in decision making? What parts of you silenced? Because this is one part that I'm going to ask you to work on for the next few months.
I'd say, it's funny, I was just putting out a post about the new version of me and what parts of myself have I been hiding.
Okay.
All the walls, all the masks that I've been putting on my whole life just to feel safe. So now the walls are coming off, the masks are coming off.
So you're being seen.
I want to be seen for, I want to come home to myself, be seen for who I am. And it's interesting you asked that question.
I love that. It's perfect timing.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect timing. And it can be a very big deal to take the mask off and be seen
Definitely.
and heard. And you're putting yourself out there, because what comes with that then is sometimes that good old imposter syndrome. Before I move into that, does anyone else want to share about what they silence?
My worries.
Your worries?
my concerns. I put on this face, okay, power through it, power through it, power through it. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and I avoid politics in the business space, but that also shows up, it seems like. And I try to, like a mental detox every day.
Mm-hmm. So you stay safe by numbing out, pushing down.
Oh boy, it sounds like a
Possibly.
drug addict. Oh boy. A little bit.
But it's okay, we all do it. There's no shame or judgment here. Each of us do have our own survival tactics to get through the day. I think it's important to be aware of them, because as we start working through them and breaking through, this is what I do with women. I look at these places where they go and hide to feel safe. That place where they're hiding is exactly where they need to work on to move forward and step up into that next level of their leadership. Is holding them back. So there's some courage and bravery that comes in really connecting with, where do I hide to feel safe? You know, I hate selling myself. I hate it with passion. I still do, and I'm still working on it. But it's something that I've learned to, I call it selling the goddess way. And I like to think of it as sharing. You know, now I'm not selling, I'm sharing myself. I'm sharing information, and I'm hopefully listening and interacting and giving guidance. So that's helped me move out of that safe space of hiding, of selling. I've changed the context in which I describe it. So those are some of the ways in which you can move forward. And of course, there's therapy, there's all sorts of ways in which you're coaching to help you understand what it is that's holding you back. Even as coaches and therapists, we have, we do the work, but we still go and hide away in that cave sometimes to feel safe. So that comes then to imposter syndrome. I mean, we all talk about imposter syndrome, it's social media's plastered with it. Imposter syndrome is not proof that you're unqualified, it's proof that you're expanding, right? Imposter syndrome means that you know something's coming, and like, for example, you talked about putting yourself on social media, you really are recognizing that you're not comparing yourself anymore. So imposter syndrome is that step that first comes of like, oh, I'm comparing myself with others, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing that, who am I to do it? Well, when you ask, who am I to do this? Who am I to show my face and be seen? Who loses if you don't show yourself? And imposter syndrome is pretty selfish. It's holding you back from others seeing you. And once you start breaking through that glass ceiling, if you like, of, if I don't do this, someone's going to lose out, someone's not going to know this information. Each of us are unique in what we provide. We might have similar careers, but we provide a certain twist or a niche that attracts certain clients to us because we're providing solutions in a way that they get to hear it. Imposter syndrome is that fear of being, fear of not being perfect. So I hate to, I shouldn't say this, but you don't have to be perfect to be powerful and leading boldly. You really don't. And you'll see leaders in businesses taking steps forward. Large organizations, perhaps they don't have all the information they need, but they will take an action to make a change, and then that's what builds confidence that comes with that. So imposter syndrome, is such a little dreadful monster. Has anyone felt imposter syndrome? Has anyone felt like a fraud? Even when you're really crushing it and you're doing really well, you're like, who am I? Who's going to listen to me? You feel like that?
So can I say something about
Yes,
that?
of course.
So sorry, I realized I'm Julie. I realized I didn't say that before. So I mean, in my industry, I work with seniors. I help seniors to find the best living arrangements, right? And so a lot of the time, I feel like people might look at me and say, well, she's very young. What does she know about this? What could she possibly know? How could she possibly help me? How could she possibly understand what we're going through and what needs we have? So for a while, for many years, I thought, oh my gosh, well, yeah, I mean, I am young. How am I going to overcome that? I mean, I felt like I had that imposter syndrome where I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because maybe why? How can I get people to trust me if I look like I'm 12? But
Right.
but over time, really, I've done a lot of work in that department. And realized that yes, I am young, but I've been in this industry for literally my entire life. So it's been 30 years of me living, breathing every single day, all things senior living. So it's important for me to remind myself that there are people who are, you know, substantially older than me that are also in this industry, but don't have nearly the same experience that I do, and can't provide the same resources that I do because of my experience.
Exactly.
Even though I'm young.
So you're an expert?
I mean,
I guess you're an expert in your field. Age doesn't come into this.
Right.
You've had this amount of years. I remember your story of being born into this with your family. So it's in your DNA. I mean, it's an amazing amount of experience that you have. And so, yeah, coming back to that place of owning your authority is really important at this point, and I'm really glad to hear that you're doing that. Yeah.
and it's helped me a lot. And
Yeah.
because I notice a lot of the time at different networking events or when I have interactions with other people that may be in the same industry as me, where they almost try to engage in like confrontation, where they're trying to kind of belittle me, where basically put me in my
Yes.
place, you know?
Yes.
And I found that now, knowing my worth and knowing exactly what I hold, I'm like, what are you doing? You know? So
Well, sometimes they
it's
feel
certainly
threatened,
helps.
that people can feel threatened, so they will do their best to override. I think
Sure.
we must find that, but they could feel threatened. And that brings me then to,
Can I say just one thing about
Yes.
that? I think the issue a little bit with that is people are very into their clout.
yeah,
And the social media is the culprit of that. We're into our clout, our titles, all the letters and status behind our name, that it's a competition. Or you don't get recognition.
yeah,
And that's a pet peeve of mine, so.
yeah.
I think what you bring to the table in your experience doesn't matter all of the years behind. I mean, I know her as a person,
Yeah.
and she, you know, you don't have to compete with the clout and the years.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good point, a really good point. And remember, for all of us here, someone is always waiting for a solution from you, right? You are solution providers. And you will have the right client come to you at the right time. This is where I believe in the spiritual connection with business. Because I've seen it happen in the last 30 years as an entrepreneur. The right client will turn up and you will provide the right solution. It's just the way the energy works in the universe. And that's who you are. You're solution providers, always. And I think that also helps you then get out of your own way of ego and imposter syndrome when you sit and you really center yourself with the humility of, I'm a solution provider. You know, this is what I do. This is how I help people. Which helps you then connect with my terrible handwriting purpose. Remember, in your leadership role, running a business in your career, remember why you chose the path that you're in. It's not just to pay the bills, obviously. It's for fulfillment, as we talked about. It's to align with your values. Women are different in how they work compared to men. We tend to encompass the community, love to have friends, family, still have a foot, well, let's put it this way, have a connection with them as we're working. It fills us up. And women do have a different paradigm of success compared to men. So as women, you know, really defining your purpose and your role in your business, but not losing your values in your community, which would make, I've seen a lot happen, you feel depressed, disconnected. We have to have that connection. So remember, what does your leadership, what makes your leadership meaningful in your business? What's meaningful to you? And maybe you make your workplace more inclusive. Maybe you're mentoring women and men. Maybe you're building something scalable, for sure, that's wonderful. But what is the purpose behind it? What is the overarching purpose? Why are you here? What are you here to do? And again, in my coaching, I help women redefine their purpose, why they're here, their mission, to help them stay on track and in alignment as they build out something that's sustainable for them. So your purpose is what keeps you grounded, okay, and on track. So when things get difficult, like they have been, Really reconnecting to your why, right? Why am I doing this? Why is this important to me? So that I just don't walk away and throw the towel, which I have nearly done quite a lot of over the last 30 years. I'm really glad I didn't. I'm really glad I'm still here. All right, so as you connect with your purpose, of course, then we start coming into the excitement of, okay, what's one big breakthrough I would love to accomplish this year? One big breakthrough I would love to have as a leader in my business. What would that be? Let's think about this. Personally and professionally, what would you love to see as one big breakthrough this year? I don't want a checklist item of a to-do. I want something that is really meaningful to you. Doesn't have to even feel realistic right now. What would be one breakthrough? So, I mean, it could be, this is the year I stopped hiding myself and I owned who I was, you know. What's one big breakthrough? Because of course I'm going to ask you this and expect you to do this year. I will be following up.
For me, it would be putting out a course and 2 workshops online.
Oh, okay.
So that would allow me to do less one-on-one time, have a greater audience, and then have more time. Now that my kids are older and they're moving around, you know, the world and military and, you know, around, I want to be able to travel and see them. And so that would allow me to scale that.
Yes.
Where you can't really scale therapy because you can only see so many clients.
I know.
You know,
So, yeah. I love that. Okay, so we are going to hold you accountable for that, and you're going to decide what your action steps are to take that forward this year. Right, we can
I
talk
have it
about
going on, so yeah.
Michael, what was yours?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, kind of in alignment with everything that you've been talking about for the last probably 10, 15 minutes. And that goes in line with being true to yourself and being seen. And one thing I wanted to bring up was not being, relinquishing the need to feel validated. And so, in this particular question, the breakthrough would be to get paid full value for what I do.
Yes.
Because I think that as many of us have had to, whether it be for age or career, the need to pivot, and or just as Lori and I have discussed, we constantly have to take on new roles in order to do what we do. So whether that means we now become a marketing expert, now we got to become a sales expert, we have to become all these experts to do the one thing that we really want to be an expert at. Yeah. And so part of the need for validation comes with when you're looking to essentially sell you / your services, since we're all solution providers here, to someone, and then having to like validate your service to them, right? And say this is why it's worth what it's worth. So the short answer is to get paid what I'm worth would be a great breakthrough, so that I can explain the value of what I do. And someone just says, okay, I get it. And like we all see the nice expense, the memes, when the client says, the money's there, see you on Monday, that will be a great breakthrough to just explain what it is, why it has value. And just like when you're in Trader Joe's, they say, oh, this, you scan it, it costs this, and you pay it. That would be nice as a service provider to just focus on what we're doing versus why and the cost and all of those things. And so that would be, I know for me personally, a great breakthrough, just because I am attached to, which I need to detach from, the outcome of my clients being happy, satisfied, receiving value, whatever that is. And so, you know, when you approach any particular, say, pitch, at least for me, I'm envisioning what the client's going to be like when it's done, right? Like say a wedding planner, you want to envision them being happy and driving away on the way to the honeymoon. So when you don't get that, you're like, oh man, I didn't get to see that drive away. And when you're building that so many times, you build 100 driveaways to get 5. So detaching from the other 95 driveaways that you don't get to see, but still realizing that you can provide that experience, that picking yourself back up again and saying, all right, well, let's sell the driveway again, that can be challenging over the years.
It can be, and it can be exhausting if you keep doing that whole reset that you're doing. So I found over the years, and you may have done this already, but my way of approaching the sale has been to really going very deep in terms of understanding the gaps that you're there to fill, and knowing my worth when I go in. I don't even look at the final destination of how good it will feel for them to be having a service. I spend a lot of time in the listening process, providing solutions, sharing, guiding, being the therapist, counselor, listening to their problems about work and that's terrible, okay, you know, and really making sure I align with them on the whole process. And when we finally do get the sale, it's of course it's lovely, but there's an excitement that comes of like, oh my God, now I really get it to do this with them. The sale process should be as exciting as the final sale. That's what I say. That's how I do it. And so I offer my clients who come to work with me this different way of selling, a sales approach, so that they don't get to that burnout stage every time there's a rejection, and that they become a valued part of either the corporation or that person's life, who will come back to you again and again because you're listening and you're sharing. So I'd be happy to talk to you if you feel like that would help you.
I'd say one thing about that. Cheryl and I used to work for the same newspaper, and because we were recording, I won't say names. But I did have a manager that I didn't always agree with all the time, but one thing she said to me has stood out all these years is to have rate card integrity. So, because in the newspaper industry, it was always, you know, where can I save money, and are you sure you can't get it cheaper? You're in sales. It was very like car salesman environment of slashing rates, or we had a big fire sale today because we had a full page we had to fill, like, you know. And I remember her saying, have rate card integrity. The price is the price. You know, build a camp. For me, if you want discounts, then I kind of look at more of a campaign development. And I'm starting to go in for retainers. Because I find that I'm always chasing either email, phone, text, can't reach somebody. If they pay me in advance, they're gonna show up for that phone call. So you were talking earlier about, you know, what is that big breakthrough? Mine is asking for the retainer.
Say again, asking for
A retainer.
a retainer.
To really get that value.
Yeah, no. I've done retainers for years, and I love having retainers because, like you said, you know, well, usually I'm the one on retainers, so it's more about being paid in advance and then just being seen for my resource.
It also comes down to yourself and your self-esteem and your self-value. And there may be something just in the background from the past, from something that took place way back, that you have a little bit of subconscious devaluing or low self-esteem piece that I also build into my coaching and counseling, because that can be something that holds you back. I'm not saying it is in your case, but I've seen it over and over again. And when you pinpoint that and bring that out to the client, they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what I do think on a deeper level. It starts to show up and manifest in the outside world. So your inner world is just as important as your outer world in terms of what's coming to you. And so it's your mindset practice too. And we all, you know, all of us have this, I have this, I'm constantly working on it every day. Business, I think, is such a fabulous way of personal growth. I see it's such an adventure. Business is really an extension of you and what you're offering. And of course, as you keep reaching each level as a leader in your business, you're noticing how much you've changed from years gone by when you first started, right? The confidence that you have now. So it's important to remind yourself of that as you keep growing. I'm conscious of time, so
We're good with time.
We're
And
good?
then do you want to do, I would love to go through.
I've got some more things here,
Sure,
and then
sure.
we'll do that. Yeah, just wrapping up though. Being bold, reminding yourself of your boldness in your leadership. It's not a one-time event, as you know. This is your mindset and a practice, and it's how you speak up in a room when you're the only, let's say, woman on a board of men, for example, or an only man on a board of women. 2 men here today, so setting boundaries around your time, that's what we talked about. and saying yes when it's time to rise, even if you don't feel quite ready. You're never going to be ready, right? Remember, you've got the expertise, you've got the authority at this level now, where you're at. Rise. When you need to rise, rise. Okay, you say yes, you go for it. And you'll figure it out. You will figure it out because you've got the expertise and you know what you're doing. So when you're leading your business, just check in with, as we started out with, am I leading from fear or from truth today? Right? Am I leading from fear or truth? Remember, fear is very draining. It exhausts you. It's overwhelming when you put your attention on it. I call it going down rabbit hole. It's like Alice in Wonderland, you know. She went down the rabbit hole, but she was curious. So, coming from fear or truth. And in my boldness, how am I going to be bold today? What am I going to do that's outside of my comfort zone? Every day, what am I going to do that's outside of my comfort zone? For me, it's usually making a sales call. Still working on it. Still working on it. All right? And showing up as the man or woman that you are becoming. Right? Every day you're changing. Your thoughts right now are shaping your future. So, as a leader, showing up as you are becoming, or the one that you're outgrowing, you know, outgrowing that old self, the one that doesn't serve you anymore. So, in boldness, looking at every day, taking one bold step, I'm going to invite you to reconnect to who you really are, right? Reconnect to that self, that strength, that courage, that resilient self. Letting go of imposter stories when it comes up like, well, I didn't take the sale, we didn't go for it, okay, now I'll do the sale, I'm putting up a fraud, why am I doing this, you know, and letting go of that because that's time wasted. That's valuable time wasted when you can be resetting and practicing some methods that help you to reset. There's a great method that I use called heart focused breathing. Do you know about it with HeartMath? Yeah. It helps to build your resilience. And it's literally a few deep breaths and practicing gratitude when you start feeling yourself going into that imposter syndrome or fear. And it helps to reset the brain. The heart rate variability starts to balance out and you feel calmer and you get the resilience back. So doing a method that will help you reset is very important every day for your self-care. And naming your breakthrough for this year and working on it, putting it up on your envisioning board, right? Putting that breakthrough, that online course, or what's going to happen by December of 2025. That one breakthrough that you want to accomplish this year. So it could be writing a book, it could be doing more, going out and doing more lectures or speeches or whatever it is. Something that could be for you or for your business. And I want you to lead like the future depends on it, because each of you really matter in the community. Each of you has a very strong role in the service you provide, but more importantly, the impact you make. The impact you make, you might not even think about, but the services you're providing has a ripple effect on those people who are working or buying that service from you. They might have a change in lifestyle. They might get to see a bigger perspective of the world because they've met you. Your service is making a difference. You really need to believe that. It's making a difference. So I want you to lead like the future depends on it, because if you don't, someone else will. Okay? So it's important to no longer dim your light and really start leading from the truth of who you are, even when things look like they're going very badly in the economy. So it won't be forever. And this is the time of investment in yourself, personal investment in yourself, to really stand up for what you believe in and what your values are. Now, there is a sheet that you have in front of you that are reflective questions for you to either take home, or you can do here. based on what we've just been talking about, you're going to take time.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
you.
To